Sexy. That's cool. That song is a friend of mine. His name is Ivan Howard. He just released a kind of a single called Howard Ivans. That's the name of the group, called Red Face Boy. That's called Pillows, that song. Check it out. He's great. He's in the band Gangs and the Rosebuds. It's just kind of a fun. Anyways, I liked it. Hey guys, this episode we have the wonderful Brendon Small. He creator of Home Movies and Metalocalypse, and a super talented musician as well. He's great. I've known him for probably the last 5 years. Super funny guy. Has a bunch of TV stuff going on. And I just want to tell you about a few shows that are going on. Brendon is in Australia right now. Brendon Walsh, that is, not Brendon Small. So we recorded this episode last week before he left, and check him out. If you live in Australia, go see him in Melbourne. He'll be there from now until April 20th, doing a show every night but Monday, I think. Check him out. He's doing his own show over there at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. Super great. Go to comedy festival. Whatever. Go to BrendonWalsh.com. That's easier, and there'll be a link there. Also Brendon Small. So there's two Brendons. Brendon Walsh is in Australia. You know him. Brendon Small's on this episode, and he has a show coming up if you live in the Southern California area. Brendon Small and Steve Agee at a venue called The Baked Potato in Studio City, California. Brendon Small, Steve Agee, Dana Gould, Mark Maron, Emo Phillips, and then there's going to be a bunch of music on that show too. So go check that out. Search Brendon Small and Steve Agee Are Baked, or search The Baked Potato and figure out how to go to that. Cool. Enjoy this episode, and here's a little bit more of that super sassy, sexy song, and then straight to the death metal. All right.
Thinking of the tides and fruit hanging from on top of the door, tight as your fingers can grip at my coat, but I only want.
That's scary.
I'm trying to read along. What's that one called? Kill Stardo
Abominate.
It has lyrics in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, those all the records come with lyrics.
The last line of this song is "fuck you." So
Yeah,
I don't know how that's going to get any airplay. But to each his own.
You know, like when we play music on the podcast and we like host it on SoundCloud, it kicks back songs if
it has
they're
foul
copyrighted.
language.
like no, if it like recognizes the song because it's like copyrighted.
I see.
But it's like we have you on the podcast.
I approve of this.
What do you think? Should we take this to the top if it gets kicked
Yeah,
back?
we'll take this
Take it to the top.
That's
That's
BMI. That is a song called "Kill Stardo Abominate" off of the Death Album 3 album.
and you write all the songs.
Yeah, I write the songs, but it's got some pretty great. That's me and a drummer, Gene Hoagland, who's a great kind of metal rock drummer and then Brian Beller on bass. I think he's playing that, and then I sing that stuff. That, if you want to call that singing.
Do you call it singing?
I don't. I call it like belching loudly.
Yeah.
It's a real technique, and you have to get in shape for that stuff. You can't just. I couldn't start doing it. I'd have to be like working at it for a while because it will hurt your throat.
When you first tried to sing like that, what was it like?
It sounded a little bit like this.
And you have to speed it up.
Oh yeah, it all started from a Louis Armstrong impression.
Yeah,
and Cookie Monster and Tom Waits and all those guys.
Because usually if you see like low rent, like small town death metal bands, they haven't quite figured it out yet.
Well, there are a lot of different techniques, but I started going on the road with these guys and touring with the band, and then touring with a bunch of other metal bands. So I would ask other vocalists questions about how the hell are you doing this from night to night, and a lot of it is microphone technique, and it's that's called a false scream, where you're almost like a big football stadium, you're kind of doing that sound. You're really on top of the mic. A lot of the high end is pushed up, and then you're also pinching the back of your throat. And you get this kind of almost an octave lower than your voice sounds, because I don't sound like that when I'm talking.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
I'd like a large coffee.
The falseness of like people with like weird, interesting singing voices, not metal, but where they're like, all right, I wrote this song. Here we go. Let's speak in there. Sing it.
Has anybody done that?
Voice.
A Dave Matthews style vocals over music like this?
No,
you
not
should
yet.
do that
That's
on an
a
album.
good idea. I think there's an audience for that.
You should do it's popular to cover someone's whole album. You should do a Dave Matthews cover.
Oh, just do the whole thing.
Just do like Under the Table and Dreaming.
So when you're writing these lyrics, are you cracking yourself up, or are you?
That's the question.
Do you get in touch with like your high school self of like?
Okay. Let me see. There's this. I mean, you're wondering if I think this is shit stupid, right?
No. I'm just reading some of because you're. I don't know you.
Right. Yeah.
Well, but you, by all accounts, you're pretty rational. Like you're
a
normal guy.
Yeah, I'm a regular guy.
And some of the the first one is talking about ejaculating fire.
I ejaculate fire. Yeah.
That's probably giving you a chuckle when you.
Oh, honestly, you know what? I think when in doubt, when I'm writing these songs, I think what would Conan the Barbarian write about? And that sometimes finds its way in here. And the other thing is, I actually really write from thinking, what would the lead singer of Death Clock write about?
Right.
And there's a song here. There's a song called.
That is a pretty presumptuous. So you're cracking up when you're making your art, right?
Well, but this album specific, the Death Clock is the characters already exist, so you're writing it from their point of view.
And so this is a song. They're terrified by women and women's biology as part of the band. I think there's a part of every guy that I think is terrified. Yeah. And there's a song called Andromeda, which I think is funny. It's actually really feminist because it's kind of it's a man's point of view of a woman, then a woman like cutting a guy's dick off and saying like, "Hey, now you're like me. You're bleeding on the ground with no fucking dick," And it's the lyrics are walking, bleeding, lurching, seething, dying from the dawn of time. So that's a man talking about a woman. She's dying every fucking fester, weakling, cursed like a demon to walk this earth alive, like the dead alive, walking, bleeding all the time. Anyway, so the chorus of this song is. Drown in Andromeda's piss, the serpent slain dies forever. Bleed on the floor like a bitch. And that's the woman talking to the guy.
Right.
The bloody rift leaks death. How can you still be alive is what the man is asking the woman now that his dick is cut off after this happens. How can you still be alive? How can you still be alive? So that's the chorus.
Do you want me to play a bit of it?
Yeah, play a bit of it. It's pretty good. It's a good one. You get the idea.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Is it because you're a killer guitar player? That's
really sick.
That's a well-known thing.
Oh, thank you very much.
But is it hard to do all that vocalization while
I'm playing?
While completely shredding?
It's really, yeah, you know what? Some parts, I have another great guitar player that I play with, a guy named Mike Keneally, who is, you wouldn't know him from metal, but you know him from, he played with Frank Zappa, and he was Zappa's last touring guitar player. I played with Steve Vai. He's playing with Joe Satriani now.
Holy shit.
He's like just...
They're serious business guys.
He's great, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a good buddy of mine, and he plays with me, so I'm trying to grab all those guitar things, and I'm trying to do a counter melody on top of that and hit like quarter notes over those with my voice. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I'll go, fuck it, you play that part. What am I doing? I'm sitting here, I'm doing my job, I'm doing more than enough.
Yeah.
You know? But there are times where I really have to slow down my guitar part down to like the Matrix bullet time and go, okay, I'm doing an upstroke here, and I've got to have so that I'm on the and beat of that, I got to come with this one syllable of the thing, and I have to slow it. And then once I do that stuff, I get it, and I just really need to put the time into it. But there's a lot of stuff. There's pedals in front of me, so I got to be screaming and playing a tricky riff, and then get ready for a solo that's really hard to play in a higher register, and you can't see anything, and people are throwing cups and stuff.
It's probably hard to like rock.
It is hard to.
You know what I mean?
You do get a few moments. Like now, the more I perform,
because it's so technical.
Yeah, I would slather stuff with lyrics and then it would just bind me to this microphone, so I couldn't go and like rock with the drummer for a while and go rock with the bass player.
Like lean back. Do you ever do that with the bass player? Lean your backs against each other. I love that.
I love touching
you both leave your microphones and just kind of
come here. Let's do that thing. The audience loves it. They don't want to do it again.
A team building exercise.
Yeah, we really trust each other. I always think every time when there's a band and somebody's acting like an asshole and it's like really going woo, I always just picture the rest of the band is like if they're like flopping their arms like a chicken, like ooh, I'm really the singer, you know, like Mick Jagger just acting like an asshole somewhere, and then I bet the rest of the band is just looking at each other going, you fucking believe this guy? Fucking hate this guy.
He's highlighting.
Just rolling their eyes like, here we go again. He thinks this is a thing, and the audience doesn't. What else is the audience going to do but go woo when somebody's acting like an asshole? Somersaults.
Oh, he's grabbing the fucking tambourine again and climbing into the crowd.
Yeah. Oh, here goes the guy from STP jumping into the drum kit again. What are you doing?
Are the people that come out to your shows well, I don't know. You probably don't ask them all individually, but do you? Are they fans of the show and the music, or just fans of the music, or just fans? I mean, obviously they're fans of both.
I think they probably know both.
Yeah,
but I think that they get the. I mean, it's funny because there are some songs that are actually like jokey songs. We have a song called "Briefcase Full of Guts," which is just like about about your job is to kill people, and you leave with your briefcase full of guts, and you have all your tools in there and all that stuff. And then, but the whole thing is, when I'm making this music, I'm trying to think like, how seriously can I possibly take this?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
With this ridiculousness, with all this dumb shit that I'm doing, how seriously can I take this? And the end result ends up being this pretty. I want to make it feel like authentic metal, that you wouldn't know that this is an animated band doing this.
Oh, totally.
That's
cool.
But the people that come to the shows, I think they're in on the joke of the show, that it doesn't take itself. The joke, the show is a comedy show,
mm-hmm.
but inside of the show, the band, and they do everything they do, they take very seriously.
That's cool. Do you think you're introducing people to this type of music?
I think we have. That's something I've definitely noticed, is that people will not know anything about heavy metal. They'll watch the show and they'll say, okay, hey, look, I bought your records. What else is out there? Now I'm checking out Metallica. Now I'm checking out like these other modern extreme metal bands and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever like have other bands on the bill like that are like maybe more
legitimate?
No, not legitimate.
Funny?
Because like your lyrics sometimes are like you're creating the lyrics based on these weird characters, but
yeah.
Are there bands that have like similar lyrics, but they're like totally believing?
They're more like your
cartoon
character guys.
I really do have a briefcase full of guts.
Yeah,
it's funny, because like songs like that. That first song is me kind of tipping my hat to a band like Cannibal Corpse, who I've become friendly with. Mm-hmm. It's funny. I've become
cool.
Friendly with all these guys. They do voices on our show and stuff.
Oh, awesome.
And I have a newer record that just came out, which is this big rock opera album called The Doomstar Requiem. And I have duets with the lead singer of Cannibal Corpse. he's got a character in our show, and it's a lot of it's about his character in this rock opera, and it's an hour-long rock opera special with a 50-piece orchestra. And
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Like I figured I may again make it a real rock opera, make it authentic into that world. But there's really heavy songs, and there's like Jesus Christ Superstar style moments, and and then like ballads, and then 80s rock. And
this is going to be an event.
No, this has already come out, but I'm now putting out the vinyl right now.
Oh, okay.
So we were talking about vinyl earlier, but it's a double album picture disc vinyl, and it looks really cool. And
oh, awesome!
Great. Yeah,
I'll buy that.
You can check it out. It's on my website, BrendonSmall.com.
BrendonWalsh.com.
Yeah, BrendonWalsh.com.
Oh, BrendonSmall.com.
Yeah, BrendonSmall.com. That's
Brendon,
right. I'm sure we've gotten. I think somebody.
Anytime I have to Google myself, there's always a reminder that there's a guy who spells his name the same way who's a lot more successful.
Oh, that's nice.
First name. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's great. Because I'm.
But there aren't that many people that spell this name the same way.
No, I don't think I've met anyone.
I saw one guy at a grocery store working there. He had Brendon. I said, "Hey, Brendon," and he's like, "Fuck you."
Really?
I was like, well, I forgot to tell you is that I'm also named Brendon. Brendon.
Well, it's true because you can relate to never having your name spelled right. Like, no matter how successful you get, I'm sure you still have misspellings.
I have Brandon.
Brandon,
I just get Brandon.
I get, and Brendan.
I was helping my fiance move into my place. And
she called you Brandon.
She called me Brandon. No, I was working with this stinky little skinny old man who's like, she hired like the cheapest mover, and she got a guy with like hip dysplasia, like an old Great Dane. Like he was like walking aside, looked like from like the Thriller video, but like permanently in that werewolf position. And I was helping him move like a top heavy fucking huge thing. Yeah. And he's like, okay, we're gonna listen. I've done this a million times before. I gotta get it up this thing. You got Brandon, you're gonna want to put it. Brandon, you're gonna. And I didn't have the energy to. First of all, he was stuttering. Like, no, Brandon. And I was like, fucking tell me. And I wasn't even gonna get into the argument.
Yeah.
Have you done that before, where you've never even corrected the person?
Yeah, I let it go. There was a period in my 20s where this girl that I was like seeing, because it just happens so often. Like I'll correct people. Yeah. Once or twice, and then if they don't get it, it's like fine. And this girl was like, but that's your fucking name. Like, you should be more adamant about it. I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So then I got into just like overly, because some people just don't get it. Like, you're like, it's Brendon. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. So Brandon, I'm going to need you. Yeah. And it's like, I fucking just told you. And then it's like, you know what? Yeah. You can't get too.
Yeah, what's funny? And also, I've learned that if I say it firmly, my name is Brandon. It was Brendon, not Brandon.
Yeah.
My name. I just call myself. My name is Brandon.
No one's gonna.
I don't even. No, but I. And then I go, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm not even angry. I'm just trying. All I'm trying to do is make a very clear distinction between the A and the goddamn E.
Yeah.
And I don't know why our fucking parents why name a name that's just like another name but like one other vowel.
Yeah, if they wanted to be fucking unique, like our mom should have given us like weird names, like tea leaves or something instead of just
cummy.
Yeah. Cum barrel.
Oh, and then
in third grade, I was a really shy kid, and at the end of the year. Oh, no, there was like halfway through the year, there was a parent-teacher conference, and my teacher, she pulled me aside like the day after the parent-teacher conference. She'd been calling me Brandon all year, and I was like, Brandon. I was like, yeah, here.
Yeah.
Every day. And she goes, why didn't you tell me your name's Brendon?
Yeah.
Fucking asshole. And I was like, my face like turned red. I didn't even, but I just let her.
Yeah, I've had people call me like Ryan.
Yeah.
Or something else. But usually,
Brian, I would get.
A lot of times it's Ryan for me, but once they do it a couple of times and you don't stand up for the first time, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Now you're just like, well, I hope we just don't know each other that long because it'll last the length of that.
Yeah.
Brandon, Ryan, asshole.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in, I was born in Illinois, in Springfield, Illinois.
That's the number one Springfield, I think.
That's what, I don't know if it is. There's a Springfield, Massachusetts. It's pretty
Springfield,
popular.
Missouri.
Yeah. Number one, like the biggest, most popular.
I think of Springfield, Illinois, I think.
Really? I think of Springfield, Oregon.
Well, Springfield, Illinois did have Lincoln live there for a while.
Oh, right. Okay. Well,
that's it. And That was after the assassination.
Right.
If you want to find the timeline, yeah.
Present day.
And then I moved there, and then I went to Salinas, California, because my dad got a job in the produce industry, and they have like lettuce there. It's like the first
that's the.
It's a real fucking shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
As my old manager says, my father represents lettuce.
I knew a friend in high school. His dad was all about Apple packaging.
Oh, really?
So, like, he was up in, like, Wenatchee, Washington, and his whole thing was, like, boxes, and then, like, the purple-colored cardboard that goes in those boxes that has dimples that holds the apples.
That holds the stuff.
And he was, like, a guy who would, like, try to get people to buy his Apple packaging.
Wow.
Some people do stuff. I mean, I guess someone needs to make that, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey.
I was telling Brennan about him earlier. He was the guy who was into Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was that guy?
Yeah, well, we were talking about the Doors and Led Zeppelin and how people are just like
I think it's odd, like people that are like our age who are like, I don't listen to Led Zeppelin album now. Where it's like you've heard every song, you just turn on a radio station. I don't know. I just feel like those like
well, go on because I want to hear what you have to say because
you probably do.
I'm a guitar player. I'm a guitar player. I'm always looking for music to inspire me, and I go back and forth often. Like I said, I just got a record player, so I'm going into I just want to hear the best sounding record. I don't even care what the style is. But what do you mean? So
I'm just
they're now just
like music like that, like the Doors, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin is just so like woven into
how do you get away from
culture where it's kind of like not where it's like, oh, I want to listen to Black Dog. Like I haven't heard that 90,000 times already, and I could probably one lap around the radio stations.
Right. You're gonna probably find it. There are deep cuts on those records.
Oh yeah.
I was with Mark Rivers last night, and I think Houses of the Holy came on.
We were talking about that. That's
Is that as Rain Song? Is that the one with Rain Song on it? And Dire Maker, yeah. That's the song you can't get away with. The song remains the same. Rain Song, Over the Hills and Far Away.
Over the Hills and Far Away.
The Ocean, all that stuff, yeah. But there's some really good shit there that I don't think is always... Because Dire Maker you will hear everywhere.
Yeah.
Black Doll you'll hear everywhere. Rock and roll. I don't ever need to hear the song. It's been a long time since a rock and... Like, that's such a mail-it-in fucking rock song. And I love Zeppelin. A lot. In fact, I didn't give a shit about Zeppelin in high school because it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere in my early 30s is when I went, all right, I'm a guitar player. Everyone says Jimmy Page. And I listened to it again with fresh ears, and that's something that did happen. And I went, okay, I was wrong about it because all I heard was Dire Maker and Led Zeppelin 4, and Led Zeppelin 4 is Stairway to Heaven. And that is... I remember hearing about Stairway to Heaven for years.
Yeah, me too.
And then
I don't know what that is.
And I finally listened. My buddy goes, "Bean, can you put the record player?" And I went, "It is that good of a song. It is that fucking good of a song. It's one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life."
But I think it's because like the eHarmony song, like all these songs that you're just like, oh yeah, that song is never gonna have any value. So like there's certain things about Led Zeppelin and the Doors where you're
and it was I was making real sweeping general because then we did start talking about House of the Holy
and how great it is.
Yeah,
you know what? I can't. Having said that, Rolling Stones and the Doors and Zeppelin to me are just like three different continents. As far as I'm concerned, the Doors, I can't do it. It sounds like a fucking electric headache.
Well, they have even less. Like the Doors really only released like a couple albums, right?
Yeah, like Hendrix did, and they keep re-releasing and reshuffling and all that stuff.
So at least like Zeppelin has, they have like a pretty.
They have a decade's worth of stuff. Yeah.
And the Stones, I don't know. Like I'm kind of indifferent to them, really. That's just kind of like it's like it's the Rolling Stones. It's like Dodge trucks or something. It's just like a product.
You know what? I have not gone. I can. Because I'm a guitar player, I can get into the minutia of it, and I can get into Keith Richards' sound and his rhythm guitar playing.
Yeah.
But the songs don't move me like something else, like songs that do move me.
Yeah.
I think I have yet to really get into the Beatles. I appreciate the Beatles, but I don't have all their records. I've never really
That's
sat
good
down
news,
and
though. You know what?
to...
Because I think that's good news, and I think that as you get older, you realize there's only like so much good music out there that you're gonna eventually kind of go back and rescan. Like, I guess I'll fucking listen to some Fleetwood Mac now because what else is there? And I guess maybe there. And then if you haven't listened and gotten full into the Beatles, that's such a treat. You'll enjoy that.
Yeah. I mean, I've dabbled in the,
But there's
obviously
a lot.
you can't.
There's a lot out there.
There's a lot. And Revolver I got into for like a summer when I was living in Austin.
Yeah.
And so I've like, I've gone in and out, but I haven't like
that's
never really obsessed, like, really sat there and listened to like Sgt. Pepper's with headphones while
That's a mono
on
album
acid
too.
or something.
Originally.
Oh, yeah.
Another one that was like that was recorded. The original Crazy Sgt. Pepper's was in mono, and I think they finally re-released it in its original mono state, which is crazy that people.
I got the White Album when I was in 6th grade because someone was just like, "Oh, the Beatles," and I was like, "Okay," but it's weird starting very much in the middle to the. You know what I mean?
But that to me is like
a good album.
Early Beatles is like, okay, that's fine. They really wrote great stuff, but White Album is so goddamn good and so many different styles of songs.
What is the turning point for them? Is it like Rubber Soul or like what? Where did they go from like the happy like help? I need someone to like the fucking Lucy in the Sky.
I don't know. I don't know my Beatles well enough to know what that record is.
Well, I'll find out.
Yeah,
in the next
you tell
5
us.
to 15 years or something when I really
let
get
us
into
know
them.
in the next 27 years.
Start spending $200 on original pressings of fucking Beatles albums. Although it is hard to find, like, you really can't. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend on a record, but that's about where it tops out. I mean, there's like old jazz and blues stuff, like 45s that'll go for like $5,000 because there were only a few of them made.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm now scouring for just like, again, the best sounding stuff. I don't care if it's the first edition.
Yeah.
As long as it's the best master that is recorded. I mean, what's happening now, we were talking about earlier, is that people are putting out records on vinyl that were recorded on Pro Tools.
Yeah.
And, with like, just all like a digital.
It's like
drum
shooting something with your cell phone and having it transferred to 35
exactly.
millimeter
That's
film.
pretty much exactly. Yeah, that's the good analogy. And you realize that, but you listen to those 180 gram vinyls that like the old Miles Davis stuff that are recorded in mono, and if you have an okay stereo system, you will hear the difference, and you'll turn into one of those assholes that starts talking about vinyl all the time, which is what I'm turning into.
That's fine. It's a good little hobby to. I like it. I've kind of toned down my vinyl buying because I realized I was just kind of impulsively doing it.
It was like, oh, it's nice and it looks nice, but then you don't listen to it.
Yeah, well, then I realized I have like a
purchasing
3 foot
thing. It's like
you have to burn calories in order to play a record. So for me, I have it up high in a place, and I have to take out a thing. You have to take the paper out. You have to put it up there, and you have to sit down. And I have like one area, the vortex of the two stereo speakers, where that's where I sit, and I have to sit there and listen. And you can't get sick of a whole record because that means you got to burn another 500 calories finding another record. You have to like listen to the record in succession, and hopefully the whole thing. That's an amazing thing about music that's happening too, is that an album used to be whatever fit on the 44 minutes of a record.
Mm-hmm.
So like some of the best records in the world were 43 minutes, 40 minutes, 39 minutes. Led Zeppelin 4 is under, way under an hour, and you realize there are 9 songs or whatever on most of these records. But that also had to be a total succession of, like, there's a story being told,
right?
Whether or not it's a concept album or something. Good night.
All right. I'm not into music.
Yeah.
You guys seem like you like it, but
yeah, you'll get into it at some point.
I like the news.
You have a lot of records out there, though, and you listen to, you like that like country, the like old weird country stuff, storytelling song. Like whatever. Like a guy's got a green neckerchief and he's sitting on a hobby horse.
I'm trying to think. Well, I like hillbilly, sounding music.
Yeah,
and I like. There's certain things in there that I like.
Are you really being serious? Where you don't listen to too much music?
No, I do. I do listen to music, but it's weird the range of things that I listen to.
Right. Like there's nothing that really defines. Like you're not like a metalhead or like
techno. There's like current music that I like, and then I like 50s, 60s R&B stuff a lot, and then Kesha. No, I don't listen to Kesha. No offense to
we
Kesha.
discovered
She's
on
a very big fan of our podcast. But yeah, I don't know. There are tons of gaps in what I know.
But I think that's everybody.
Yeah.
Well, movies too, though. You have a what were we just talking about? Oh, you never saw Reservoir
There's
Dogs.
a lot of popular movies I haven't seen. Yeah.
Really?
I haven't seen really any of the Star Wars movies.
No.
The original ones probably when I was really little, but I don't.
Where were you? Wait, where are you from?
Oregon. My brother was really into Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I was like young enough that I was like, I don't know, and I didn't really see much of it.
Right.
I definitely haven't seen any of the newer ones, obviously.
I haven't seen the new ones.
I haven't seen.
They're so good.
Really?
No.
The ones everybody complains about.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the. What are the Lord of the Rings? I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah.
Those were
Sure.
popular. I haven't seen. Well, I guess Reservoir Dogs. What's a movie I should have seen? What's a TV show I should have watched?
Seinfeld. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, see, you guys are talking about like the Led Zeppelin thing. I'm kind of like that with Seinfeld. It's so good,
but I
it's
am too with
so
Seinfeld.
available.
Yeah.
It's so on
I find
every
that
channel.
I leave that on. Like that is probably my most watched rerun.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I have a
because
hard
being on the road a
time-
lot, like you'll have a couple hours before when you get into town.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it on Seinfeld before. Like Cheers is one. Cheers is a show that I watched as a kid,
Right.
and never watch reruns of it. Never feel compelled to. But
That's interesting,
Seinfeld, I
yeah.
will. Simpsons, if it's on, they took the
Simpsons
off
is the same way. Like Simpsons and Seinfeld are both so funny.
Yeah.
You watch it, you're guaranteed to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I see it on, I'm like, nah. It's like
Yeah.
ice cream with me.
Well,
Where it's like I love ice cream, but it's like I can have it anytime I want. I don't really want it.
wow.
What?
No, it's
Ice
not
cream
true.
is such a.
I have ice
analogy.
Do you wait? I don't understand.
Like the son of Baskin and Robbins. He probably doesn't like ice cream that much anymore because it's so
Right.
available. And
Wait, Baskin's son or Robbins?
Baskin and Robbins is a husband and wife. No, it's not. Okay, you got me. Ben and Jerry's is a husband and wife, though.
Yeah, that is true.
that is true.
Briars and Dryers is a husband and wife.
Really?
And Rocky Road.
Rocky Road, the most difficult life kind of ice cream there is.
You guys like ice cream?
I do.
I
What
do.
flavors?
My whole thing is that I don't eat any of that stuff because except for in special occasions.
Mm-hmm. So like nights
'Cause I'm
and weekends.
yeah. Do you eat ice cream every night?
I'd say in the last few weeks I've been eating a lot of ice cream.
Why is that? What do you think that is?
Because I
Kind of newly unemployed. Randy's just discovering.
Oh, really?
yeah
What
yeah.
happened in a coffee shop?
Yeah, I don't work there anymore.
Okay.
It kind of like ended naturally, and then something else started kind of right on the heels of it, which
Gotcha.
I kind of knew was happening, but it ended in a weird way.
Right.
And then, but I don't go anywhere for work now.
Randy
Right,
threw
right.
semen in his boss's face.
I thought it was acid.
Yeah.
It was someone else's semen
Oh, interesting.
You grabbed your semen jar instead of your acid
instead
jar.
of my acid jar. I should have labeled them.
Yeah.
They look the same.
Yeah. But so it's kind of like the first time ever maybe where I'm just like, oh, I don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
And I don't have to go to bed at a certain time because like my other job I had to be up really early.
Right.
And there are obviously occasions where I have things going on that I have to do, but it's very irregular. So now I'm like, oh, well, I'm bored. I'll go buy some ice cream, put it in the fridge, and then I'm like, I'll be here every
Why
single
not eat
night.
it all? That's my thing is why not eat it all in one sitting? Because I can do
I
it with
do.
Ben and Jerry's easily.
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's I can.
I can't. If I have sweets, I don't
Oh.
buy sweets, but I'll eat the whole. If I buy a thing of ice cream,
because you like it
it's
so
gone.
much. Because you can just. That's what I can do. If
It's a
shit's in my house,
self-control.
listen. If it's in my house, if there's a cake in my house, I will pick
yeah.
away at it over like a day and
Yeah.
finish it. If there was a chick with a dick in my house, I'd probably suck their dick. Like if it was just in my house, easily available, I would probably find a way to like. I
Put
go
it
like,
in your mouth.
listen, I keep walking past you. You're
Yeah.
right in my kitchen, and it's really, and you've got these gigantic fake tits.
Yeah.
And let's just fucking hang out for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything that was in my house would probably eventually get tried.
Is a chick with a dick?
It's really a dude
It's
with
a,
tits.
a dude with tits.
But they're making them. They're making them
right.
pretty good these days.
Well, no, let's say transgendered
Oh, yeah, we need to be
individual.
Oh yeah,
But
that's
they're
probably
making
insensitive.
But I mean, if there was something that were like strange and sexually tempting in
Yeah.
your house, you'd probably have a go at it.
A lot of downtime.
That's why people have sex with their dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't
Sure.
agree with that. I mean, I don't agree with having if you have a dog and you're having sex with it.
No, I
cut it
think
out.
maybe I do draw the line at house pets, but
Oh, yeah, that's true.
but I do think if there's a weird like I should have started off and said like if there was like a gaggle of visitors like a tour bus of I don't know what I'm saying.
French people.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
If there's something in my house, chances are pretty good. I'm gonna
Explore it.
especially
you
if it can't go bad like ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always frozen.
They have that core. Ben and Jerry's came out with a new thing called core flavors, where it's just
It's like a plug of
ice cream
something
with just
in the
like
middle.
in the middle it's a core of like caramel or
Oh, my
chocolate or
God.
something.
I think I've tried that already.
Yeah, I had Ben and Jerry's all treats. Did they do that? Where it's just like a container of Snickers or something.
Oh, really?
No ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Peanut butter cup flavored minus the ice cream. It's just
Yeah.
a bunch of peanut butter cups.
Those are good. They're
Yeah.
really cold and waxy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy's really getting into. This is like your first foray into not having a real
How
job.
are you gonna? I mean, it sounds like you're ready to live this way forever. Is that right?
Doing all right. I love it a lot.
Yeah.
It's
What do
been
you-
pretty good.
What are you looking? What, I mean, are you should be doing like a TV job. You should be doing.
No, we have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a job, but I don't have to leave my house.
Oh, what is that? It's this.
Kind of. I don't know.
We have like something.
We're like we're consultants for a thing.
Nickelodeon.
I'll tell you off the air.
Okay, that's fine.
We're
Yeah.
streaming live. I don't know. Not that it matters. I just don't want to like outwardly
Yeah, it's weird
kind
to
of brag
kinda
about it
talk
because I
about it.
like it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair
yeah.
enough. Fair
And it's
enough.
not like
Good. Yeah.
It's not like a project people would be like, oh, I know about that.
Okay.
You know what I
And
mean?
it's
not
really
like I
hard
write
to
for a TV
explain,
show. It's
too.
so it's a new job that was created for us, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well,
and
then-
they still don't really know. It's great because they're
so
not
this isn't like
breathing down our
depression
neck.
ice cream. This is like celebration.
No,
ice
no.
cream.
I mean, there was
Yeah.
like technically, I haven't been paid since I quit that job.
Sure.
Because this new thing is the money comes in monthly, and so like basically we should be getting money any day now because it's been
Right.
a whole month.
Right.
So I have been kind of on the downfall money wise, but a whole month of that month and a half I was technically getting paid. So it's not a
Right.
big deal. I'm like, this is great.
Right.
And even when I could stay up as late as I want because I had like a job where I was like, I have to go to work at 2:30 in the afternoon and work till midnight or whatever.
Sure.
There was still something that I was dreading
Yeah.
where I'm like, fuck, I have the day off, but tomorrow's back to work. And
Yeah.
now it's the first time where I'm like, oh shit, this is the best. Like,
Right.
this is so good. I'll go
That's
like,
nice.
yeah, I wake up, I drink coffee at my house every morning. I don't
Yeah.
have to like rush to anything.
Yeah.
It's great.
Really rubbing it in our listeners' faces.
Yeah,
Really
No,
making it
no,
work.
no. I mean, I do. I'm sorry. I feel like when
So
I'm
creative
excited about
people-
something, but I've been in the position of not
There's paying
being
dues.
happy for a long time,
Right.
career wise. So I'm like, well, this is the first time kind of dipping into that, so it feels great.
I think what people may not realize also is if you're creative and you have to be funny, for a living, you realize that there's nothing. Shit doesn't get funny until like about 2:00.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think there's like time of day sensitive stuff where I'm
Yeah.
not like I can't think like I can't take a meeting, and if I'm the boss of a show, which is what I am on Metalocalypse, I do not take an early meeting because
Yeah.
I'm not funny then.
Yeah.
Stuff doesn't get funny until like 11 or like 12 or 1.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
when I'll
that's
start taking meetings.
ideal
So-
kind of.
But I think, and then later as the day progresses, then I also realize that this is what I've learned about myself creatively over the years is that I'm good for about 2 or 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Seriously, of really hard problem solving
Mm-hmm.
thinking. And you can do, if you know that about yourself, and if you take breaks in between those
Mm-hmm.
every like 20 minutes or 40 minutes, you take a walk around the block, do anything. When you're not thinking, you're going to solve whatever writing
Yeah.
problem you have. But it's true, like 3 or 4 hours for a writer. If I'm going to run a room of writers, I'm not going to exhaust them all day because they're all
Yeah.
going to be tired off of like miniature Snickers bars and
Yeah, yeah.
sad and depressed, and they're just trapped in a room. But when you say like, "Give me your best stuff for 3 or 4 hours," then usually that'll happen. Everything
Yeah.
else is bullshit. It really is a waste of time, I think.
That's and how long did it take for you to figure that out?
It took me. I think I had exhausted myself off and just
Yeah.
realized that I'm no good right now. I'm just
Yeah.
my brain is spaghetti. You know.
It takes a while to because when you don't have like a regular kind of when you're not on everybody else's schedule.
Yeah.
Like I used to beat myself up so much about because I don't sleep until late at night and
Right,
it's like,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
want to wake up and
Sometimes
have
you're
a full
creative
day.
at like 2:00 in the morning. And
Yeah,
stuff.
way more at 2 in the morning
Sure.
than at like 10 in the morning, and it took years for me to just really accept like wait I don't have to do anything like I can live on my own schedule and like whatever kind of ingrained like wasting a day like not waking
Right.
up before 10 or 11.
I've done that my entire life
Yeah.
with like any kind of job in front of me, and this is what I think writing is. Writing for me is 90% not writing. It's doing
Yeah, yeah.
anything but doing anything.
Exactly.
It's trying like, hey, I'm gonna Guess I'll shave
clean
my
up.
pubes or something.
If you come over to my place and my pubes are shaved and my apartment's clean, you know I should be writing.
Yeah, and I'm wearing like a scarf and an outfit. And I didn't know I still had these sunglasses
behind you.
But that means you have a writing like deadline in front of you. But the truth is that if you know nowadays I'll go like if I have any kind of a writing assignment for myself or if I'm doing like something or an article or something, I'll tell the person, tell me 5 hours before it's due. And that's when I'll probably do it.
Right.
Like I have to go home and do some voiceover stuff later on because it was due in 4 hours.
Right.
That's the only time I'll do it. But I learned that over the years. I would waste time, and I think everyone does. That's creative. There's something wrong with all of us in that we cannot manage time. There's something kind of weird, ADD, OCD about just being creative.
I'm good at I feel like before noon, obviously not early, but I'm the most creative, I would say. If I wake up at a reasonable time, 8 or 9, I'd say between 10 and noon is kind of where my brain is creating comedy the most.
That's
10 and noon. That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Because I have coffee, I'll have something to eat, and then I'm excited, and I have the most energy, and now I'm prepared and ready.
Right.
But I guess that might just be based on me waking up, getting ready. That could happen at any time if I slept in later, maybe.
Right.
But that was what was
and
so
kind
shitty.
of the excitement of this new situation you're in, where
it's a motivation.
Nobody's gonna ever figure this out.
Yeah,
it's gonna be compelling. What you're doing is building intrigue.
Yeah. Well, it is a weird thing.
Yeah,
but
you don't have to talk about it.
For me, it's a motivation thing, and I would notice it at my day job, where I would start having all these ideas and be like, "Fuck, I need to not be here." By the time I get off work, I'm gonna be too tired. It's too late in the day to start something weird and creative, and it was always 10 or 11. I'd be like, fuck, I wish I could split out of here because right now I have the motivation to accomplish something. I don't know if it's a creative thing, but it's I have the motivation at that time of day for some reason.
But it also, it's the ideal time to be creative is your personal, whatever, for me, afternoon, for you, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But then it will work if you kick yourself in the ass and sit yourself down in front of a computer and force yourself there. You will be able to come up with something.
Yeah.
Because you know that if you've had deadlines that you look like a real asshole if you don't finish something.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And whether or not you want to, you can turn it on if you want to. I took an acting, writing, directing seminar, a real heavy class with real actors that were in it. And the whole thing about being creative was just not physically, in a scene.
Right.
And in directing, to keep yourself moving in some way, to physically just move your body. Because you'll get stuck as a writer if you're sitting in the same place looking at the same goddamn computer screen all day with a shitty old cold cup of coffee or whatever it is. But if you get up and give yourself a reason
Hawaiian
to
punch,
move.
that's what
That's it.
Warm Hawaiian punch.
Warm mug of Hawaiian punch.
Ice cream and Hawaiian punch.
Yeah. I do emergency and vodka.
Yeah, we have diabetes.
But the act of actually just moving your body, going, I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to bring my pad of paper. I'm going to go to a different location. I'm going to keep switching. And while I'm thinking about something else, obviously, every time. Even writing, we'd go to a 7-Eleven near where when we're having writing days. And we'd go, all right, fuck this. Enough. All right, stop. Everyone stop. Let's go. And I'd just sit with somebody and we'd go, so what's going on with your brothers? You still, you know what we could do? We could do this and the other thing and the other thing and that. And your brain, whatever, your body moving just releases something. Yeah. And your subconscious is working on it while you're doing something else.
That's totally stand-up. People are like, how much do you write? There are some people who are like, I write for 2 hours a day.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's weird. I feel totally
Speaking of Seinfeld, that guy put in 6-hour days. I'm always inspired by his stories of his work ethic because as a stand-up, you're alone and no one's really saying, "Hey, you got to get those jokes done today, or seriously, the company's gonna go under."
Yeah.
But nobody does that, and it's really hard to give yourself an assignment because you're sitting there looking at your act and you go, "Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
It seems to be working okay." But then if you were really to be hard, I was trying to do this for myself recently because I was thinking, okay, how much of this shit, does any of this shit pertain to me really? And some of it does, and I can find a loose reason. So I got to do stuff that pertains to me more, that's more embarrassing for me to talk about. Okay, so that's a goal. So I'm going to start trying to write some of that stuff. Now, there's a funny joke here, but the first half is funnier than the second half.
Right.
I've got to find a funnier second half that beats the first half. If my second half of the joke is not as funny as the first half, then I failed.
Yeah.
And I'm just dwindling, and I'm going to try to save it every time. And I have jokes like that where I'm like, the first half gets a big laugh. And I go, yeah, for example, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, what else is going on? Like, kind of ruining that. But giving yourself a writing assignment, even as a stand-up, that's a tricky personal business thing to go like, okay, what do I need to do? What's my checklist of stuff? Because you don't know, because you're going, because you're sitting there in a coffee shop going, I don't know, what's funny about shoes?
yeah.
What is it? I mean, what is it? Really? I'm going to crack this one.
Yeah.
If socks over your
if
shoes.
I put work in, that's the thing. Like my stand up is like, here's a joke that I just came up with and I'll do it just like that.
Right.
And then I never work on it and expand it. Like if I had the brain of someone else, like I would have like 3 hours of material.
Right.
But like all my jokes are 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, it's tricky to figure out what works for you. And I still don't, like, there are things I should be doing that I'm not. And I know that it's like, well, that would help a lot if you did that. And it's like, I don't feel like it. I mean, what's hard is, and I know it's just pussy excuse stuff, but what really helps is just listening, recording what you do, and listening back to it. Yeah. And there's nothing more repellent than like,
so painful.
I'm going to sit in my apartment and listen to myself for 2 hours today. But every time I do, it's like, it's like stepping outside of it and going, oh, well, why don't you talk about that after that? Or, I just think of so many different things, because once you're not in it, I guess the goal is you should record yourself every time, and if you do something there, what I'm trying to do now is record myself every time. When I'm finished, take a note if I think I did something different that worked. Like really, like first thing I do is write down 4 or 5 things, or if I have a printout of whatever jokes, I'll circle some stuff and put stars next to it, and then worst case scenario, if I did go on in some way that was funny and unique in a way that I can't remember, that's when I listen. Right. Yeah. But the good thing, that is the most difficult thing. I listen to myself. I force myself to listen to myself eating shit because I hadn't done comedy in a long time. And I started doing it again, and I was just like, I'm going to try to figure out all this stuff. And it was on the heels of doing tons of acting classes and stuff because I just wanted to figure all that stuff out. I wanted to just to be a better director, be a better actor, be a better writer. And you start tapping into that vulnerability thing with the acting stuff, which is the polar opposite of comedy, which is about I'm confident, I'm relaxed, don't worry, I'm in charge, I got this whole thing. Well, fuck you, And I was eating shit when I was coming back, and I forced myself to listen to myself for like 22 minutes of just eating shit. And I listened to my shaky, quivering, fucking sad voice in a room with just sympathy laughter, just like, and it would just dissipate very quickly. Yeah. And I go, so what else is going on? And I just listened to the loneliness of that thing. It is the saddest, scariest thing you'll ever hear in your life. And where was that one? That was like a fine one. That one was okay. That wasn't a full bomb because I'd bombed previously, maybe like 2 months before. So I was kind of getting back up into doing it well, but I still heard myself. And that was in New York at the UCB there, one of the UCBs. Okay. And it was like an okay night, but I was like, I got nothing to say. I'm just kind of, what I'm trying to do is relearn how to fucking be funny in a room full of people again, because I got good at all this playing live guitar and metal and all that stuff, but it all started with stand-up a long time ago. Yeah. But yeah, just, I was over repeating premises. Oh, okay. Just stupid shit. Yeah. Just dumb stuff that you don't need to, you need to be concise and clear. And then just seriously studying other people's comedy, listen to Chris Rock, listen to all kinds of guys, listen to Bill Cosby, all kinds of stuff that I like, and just going, what is it? I'm doing such a shitty version of anybody's comedy, but it's really good and it was painful. Everything was painful. Just again, I'm not setting up a joke well. I don't have I'm not off book on some of this stuff. I should be completely clean with some of this stuff that should elicit a bigger laugh. And
And over the last 2 years and a half, I'm not worried about being funny in front of people again. It's just about like, okay, what am I saying with this stuff? What is the point of this? You know?
No, that's good.
It's good. It's scary and it's shitty. And again, you're your own boss.
Well,
so
to really think about what you're saying too, because that's kind of where I've been lately with what I'm doing on stage, and I'm like, what am I? I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, what am I saying with all this? Like, it's like, yeah, there's stuff that makes me laugh and it's silly or whatever, and it does well, but ultimately, and I don't know, it's just like a weird crossroads that I've been at for a little while now, like not super long, but just kind of, you know, not that I'm like, oh, I need to be like George Carlin or like, you know, Bill Hicks and fucking really, you know, like there's talk about the government and how we're getting ripped off. But I don't know. It's like, I feel like there needs to be more of me because I've been doing it for like over 10 years now. And it's like, I'm a much different person than when I started.
Right.
But I feel like the stand-up kind of personality has been just kind of steady of like, it's still the same kind of smart ass stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I know.
But it's interesting to hear like, yeah, really, because just like thinking about what you're saying and like, you know what
I did? I did, and this is a good exercise for me, is sometimes I'll give my friends really good advice that I wish someone would be giving to me.
Yeah.
So my buddy, Andrew Donnelly, you know Andrew Donnelly, yeah.
Funny guy.
He was telling me, he's a very funny guy.
He's
he's in every commercial, too.
Donnelly.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm convinced someone in my lineage may have slept with a bear.
Yes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But he was telling me how he had recently been diagnosed with ADD, and I thought that's really interesting. And he'd been telling me all these stories, and everything started adding up. And I said, okay. And he's like, that's why I can't fucking finish anything. That's why I've got 12 minutes to stand up. And I'm like, you know, what age I am at this point. And I was like, okay, well, you know what you should do? I think that's a one-man show, and I think you said enough stuff where I know I could produce that show, and I know I could direct it and whatever. So he said, yeah, you know, I should do that. And I knew he wouldn't do it, so I said, hey, check your email. And I'd booked him a one-man show at the Steve Allen Theater, and I said, we've got 2 months to get this together. And it just, it lit a fire under his ass, and he has an hour of stuff now.
That's great.
It was all related to one thing. You know, and it's very much him, and it's very much his personality, and the whole idea is like, you know, it's got to have a joke every 30 seconds, and then also tell stories, and then also be educational about this thing I don't know that much about,
right?
And so, and I was talking to Steve Agee too, and I was he's saying like, yeah, I got to do more stuff. I need to get like an hour together, and I said, well, if you want an hour, you should force yourself in a position of having to do an hour every. So I said, you should, again, call the Steve Allen Theater and get a night where you can have somebody open for you and you fucking slug it out. You know? Like Marin's been doing that too, slugging it out for an hour, but you know, he's so good at that right now of like finding and developing on the spot and
having that, you know, where he kind of has to now, you know, because he's
got to generate a lot of shit, right? So he has to have new material. But that was the thing. I was thinking, if I put myself in that position, if I force myself to do a one-man show, but it was really fun asking Andrew all the questions that I think I should ask myself. Yeah. So I started building a template for how I would treat my own stuff if I were to direct myself. Yeah. If I were to be my own like producer and director and editor of my own shit, it made me think differently about how to do stand-up, which is interesting because that's like what the acting thing is too. They say that don't just sit there and wait for a director to tell you what to do. You're the director. The director's not gonna. He's just gonna say, stand over there and that's where. Look at the wall. That's where the dragon is, and that little dot. And then you have to come up with everything else. You don't have to, because they're not going to tell you to do anything. You should show up and direct yourself until they stop you, and then you're still supposed to overtake them and do your own directing and believe that you're the director of the thing. Yeah.
It's like life, you know, like acting. Nobody's telling you what to do. So
exactly, but especially stand up is the thing where it is funny though. I think it is. Not everyone does this, but not everyone. I was talking to Andrew, and we were like, we should keep this up after we did like 3 shows, and we just kept whittling it down, and we're going to probably do more of it. But we should do, because I would fix like.
So you guys have done some performances?
Yeah, we've done
already?
some of this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to bring it back and do it again. So I'll post some stuff. But it was a really fun thing. We learned a lot.
That's a really good friend too. That's for you to do that for him, of like, because that's something that so many people.
Yeah, I get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I need to. I should do that, and then to like,
take
the initiative to like, hey, I just, now you got to do some shit.
What if he was like, well, fuck you then?
Yeah.
You're a shitty friend.
Yeah.
Then I would do my, hey, this is
I just
Andrew
like complaining.
Hey, I'm moving.
Yeah.
Right. It's true though, but that's how I do anything. Like, if you work on a TV show, you have to turn your script in. You have to do other stuff. We're forced to do like whatever you guys are doing. You will lose your reputations if you don't turn in your shit.
Yeah.
In stand up, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you can just disappear for a while.
And like writing a book or any of that stuff, it doesn't happen to us. So you've got to. That's why anytime I can, I'll put myself in a position of having to deliver something by saying that I will do it.
Yeah.
So if I put out a solo record, which I have done, I got a PR company and I said it's going to come out this date, like come rain or shine. So that means I got to get my shit together,
Right.
and put myself in and then also spend like a few grand on a PR company too.
Yeah.
So I'm losing money if I don't do this.
Yeah.
It's really so I've got to be smart about that. So I put myself in financial peril to have to make it back in some way.
So you only have like a few grand now, huh?
That's all.
That's.
I'm down.
So the death metal stuff isn't really.
Well, you know what? It's really weird. We this record here got on number 10 of the overall Billboard chart top 100.
Really?
This hit number 10. The one before it hit number
No shit.
15.
Deathclaw.
The one before that hit number 21. So these are the highest charting extreme metal albums of all time.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
Wow.
we sell a lot of these.
That's
it's crazy
crazy.
things. Yeah. So there's it's also
What label is it? Is it Adult
this is
Swim?
Adult Swim, but I've since taken it over and put
Okay.
out that whole rock opera thing, which is
And this is your own label?
so
Or
yeah,
do
it's
you
my
made
own
your
label. So yeah, if you go to
That's smart.
brendonsmall.com, you can see that I've got 2 records out. I've got a solo record that I did with the same group of musicians, and the one with the orchestra, and
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
it's really cool.
So I
Check it
like
out.
this. This isn't the kind of music that I listen to a ton of now.
Right.
In high school, was all Metallica and
Sure,
and,
yeah.
Cannibal Corpse. Got into like the some of the more extreme stuff.
Yeah.
Megadeth and
Yeah, those guys are awesome. But this is like I played you guys some of the heaviest stuff on the record.
Yeah.
There's actually the thing about Deathclaw is that it's there's a lot of melodic shit going on in some of the bigger, more grandiose, epic songs, and that's kind of more what we're known for in the metal world.
Do you teach guitar classes?
I have, but
Can I sign up for a guitar class?
yeah, I would teach you.
Okay, how much does it cost?
Nothing. Ice cream. What? I don't care.
Oh, you hear that, motherfuckers?
Honestly,
You know what? I'm busy. Never mind.
he's gonna book you a concert at the Steve Allen Theater.
A guitar.
A one-man guitar, like a Joe
Seriously,
Satriani thing.
Yeah.
What do they call that?
You have to tell a whole story using only guitar.
It's a recital.
Yeah.
That would be a great. I would like to.
A guitar recital.
Yeah, and you can't be funny.
It'd be funny. The Steve Allen Theater just
can't
starts
save
going,
it. Yeah.
goes out of business because it's like, Brendon Small just keeps booking
Yeah.
shows for
Shittiest
people who
shows.
aren't prepared.
That's kind of true.
It's like, hi, nice to meet you. You know what I just did? Check your email.
Yeah. Some knife juggler died at the Steve Allen Theater. He didn't know how to juggle.
That's funny. That's good entertainment.
Yeah.
It
I'd
is.
go to that.
It is.
When's the last time you had a real job? Like that where you had to go like work for someone?
The last one, this is probably back in Boston before I started doing Home Movies, which is a show I did a long time ago. But
we should say we're here with Brendon Small,
yeah,
creator of Home Movies and Metalocalypse,
yes,
both adult swim
When was
shows.
Home Movies? Yeah, that's
That was-
because I think we're about the same age.
I'm 39.
Okay,
Which is
yeah.
yeah. So
So that you were pretty young.
I
when
was
that happened.
23 when we did
Wow.
the pilot of that in
That's pretty cool.
99, I
Yeah.
think, or I think we did the pilot in 98 and it aired in 99.
Okay.
And so I got pretty lucky early
Yeah,
because
that's
I
pretty sweet.
I went from music school and I was temping, and then that was my last job. I think was temping, and then
Wow.
I started kind of living the life of I guess I don't really have to get up, do
Yeah,
I?
yeah.
You know?
But
But
talking to this microphone and
yeah, I'll do that. But I was writing scripts, so I had to show up with scripts, and
Mm-hmm.
I worked with another really great writer named Bill Broadus on that stuff, who's just such a great joke writer. and a good group of people with really, John Benjamin and Jonathan Katz, and then Louis C.K. was on the show back then, and like guys like Andy Kindler and Emo Phillips, tons of different people. So I got to be around those guys, and I got to improvise and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so it was fun.
How did all that come? Like you,
I was doing stand up for about a year and a half, I think, and I just was doing what you do in the first year, which is kind of sucking and sometimes getting a laugh and being confused and angry on stage, and telling a joke and then getting like a look in your eye, and, like you're really angry because like I thought it was going to be funny, and then I started doing more character stuff, and that's where I started getting bigger laughs. And there was a show, and I knew that the Dr. Katz people were going to be in the audience because there was a show with Ron Lynch, who I'd seen like a couple times before. He was always doing Dr. Katz stuff.
Was it in L.A.?
No, this is in Boston. This is in the Hong Kong, the comedy studio.
Yeah, that's like the famous.
Yeah, I'm going back there this weekend.
Yeah.
To go and do some stuff. Me and Eugene Merman and Andrew Donnelly. And,
awesome. Oh, cool. Is this a benefit for something?
No, this is like honest. This is my bachelor weekend. I'm getting married later on,
okay.
and so I said, wouldn't it be cool if we all just hung out and took over the comedy club for the weekend?
Yeah,
and went and got some good food and some nice wine and stuff like that. And
nice.
Wouldn't that be fun to just hang out in our old stomping ground? So they're going to do it. But I was there on a night where the Dr. Katz people I knew were going to be there, and because Louis C.K. was on the show, and I'd seen him a few times, and I would laugh until my face hurt. And same with Ron Lynch. I'd never seen anything like that before. And so I had this character, this really stupid character idea, or I was this really brash, obnoxious comic, and I had been taking a comedy class, and all I'm doing is screaming about how much I like ham. This is really stupid, like anti-comedy stuff. And I'm just assuming everybody likes ham as much as I like. Hey, goddamn it, I really like ham. We all like ham. Why do we like ham so much?
Yeah.
Ever think about that? Why do we like ham so much? You ever go on a date and buy your girlfriend some ham? Order for both of you 2 hams. And she's putting salt, pepper. She's putting everything they got on it, and you're like, taste the ham. It's naturally salty. But I'm like loud and screaming, smoking cigarettes because you could smoke cigarettes on stage and stuff. And Ron Lynch comes up, and he's livid. He's miserable with my performance and I'm doing really well. Like that gets the audience going crazy. And
man.
And he says, "This is This is not you. This is not you." He says, "You are not this person. What are you doing up there?" And I like break, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what. So it's got all this dynamic stuff because I'm like now quiet and vulnerable. And he says, what did we talk about in your class? Talk about what you know. What do you have that no one else has? Like, I have a gigantic, horrible burn scar down my back. Like, I'm covering my entire back. And he says, well, why don't you talk about that? And so I start talking about how I was born on a farm and I knocked over a kerosene lamp and I burned the back.
So he runs on stage.
Yeah, he runs on stage and he's like, yes. And I'm like, yeah. And he says, and what does it look like? I go, it looked like ham. And it was just it was a really stupid bit, but for some reason I was playing to this one table and it turned out that's where the Dr. Katz guys were, and they really thought that was funny, and it really worked. It was such a stupid bit. I mean, it's stupid. It's really stupid, but it's funny. And I think they thought that I was friends with Louis and Ron. I think they thought that I was just like pals with them, but I knew them a little bit, but not that well. And I think they thought I was like in a cool guy group.
So they're just like, yeah, you're legitimate.
Yeah, they're like, whoa, you live here? Oh, that's great. So we should talk about some kind of a project, and that's how it all started.
So that's why it was all like Squiggle Vision and stuff.
That was back in Squiggle Vision because that's why it was the Dr. Katz, and then
And your show was like the first Adult Swim show, right? Is that true?
Well, it was originally on UPN, which was a junior network. And I think they merged with somebody else, and now it's something else. But it was like a junior network where the guy who owned Chris Craft, which is a high-end boutique boat company, decided to buy a network, and and it was mostly they did some really weird shows that were kind of like, this isn't funny, and then kind of dumb and then they had our show, which was like quiet and weird, meandery, and you had to like recalibrate your system of comedy because our rhythm was just different than anything else. We were just talking over each other. It was kind of a big mess, but we liked it a lot. We thought it was funny. And so, but we had some of the worst ratings because it was on a network, an actual network.
Yeah.
You know, and then it got canceled after 5 episodes, and about 2 months later, if that, we got a call from Cartoon Network saying, "Hey, we're trying to do this new thing called Adult Swim. We'd love to put your show." And
wow!
And we got picked up again almost immediately.
Fuck you, man.
We got very lucky.
It is just like, it's like,
total
wow,
luck.
you didn't even have time to get bummed out.
Yeah. What? So we're back in production.
Yeah.
We're back in production. It was all those things were just. I was ready for a challenge, and I was a really disciplined writer too. And I had lots of writing examples just from fucking around and writing sketches. And I had like a Seinfeld episode that I'd written, and I had all kinds of stuff. But maybe it was because of guitar, because I had some discipline with guitar, that I knew that if I put work into it and I worked like 4 or 5 hours a day, then I would get better and I'd learn stuff. And I kind of treated my writing life like that a little bit too. So writing it doesn't have to just like for stand-up, it doesn't just have to be jokes. You could write sketches or ideas. You can compartmentalize throughout the day and work on this and then that and the other thing. So that's how I got into it, but it was all totally luck.
How long was that show on for?
We did 4 seasons of Home Movies with Adult Swim. So we finished up the first one, and there were 4 seasons of 13, so it was 52 altogether.
Oh wow!
But it never really found an audience until it was canceled.
Oh really? Like on DVD and stuff.
We put the DVDs out right after we were canceled, and we didn't know. Like I think that's around the time that Family Guy had this big resurgence too. But we didn't have the kind of audience. We didn't have the same sense of humor or anything like that. So
I always thought that was like a popular show.
I think it became popular afterwards.
Okay.
You know, I think it.
Did they start like Adult Swim started playing them again?
Yeah, Adult Swim started playing them again, but they were really nice because they. I was just talking about this earlier today to a friend, but our ratings were never good, but the network really liked the show, and they didn't have to do this, but they were like, "We're giving you a final season, and it's not going to come back." So it's almost like firing a guy on Monday and saying you can work till Friday.
Yeah.
Just trying to act like that much of an asshole, knowing that the job's over. But the good thing that we got to do with that is we got to write our final episode.
Yeah,
which sometimes
that's nice.
You don't get to do that.
Yeah.
You just have like the last episode is it's the kooky cable guy.
Yeah.
It's the introduction of a new character.
Yeah,
The last episode.
Yeah,
a new interesting character shows up.
A new baby's like, computer.
The neighbors moved in.
Yeah, but so I got to write the last episode. Or I got to come up with a story and all that stuff, and co-write it with Bill Broaddus, and write the final thing, which was kind of a nice. And I think that's why people keep thinking about it, is that we finished the show, we finished what we had to say, and we were done. And then people still ask me, "Hey, what's going on? You bringing that back or what?" No.
Yeah.
Never.
We
done.
killed all the characters in the final episode, didn't we?
Didn't you see beyond the credits?
They're all just a bunch of squiggles
Yeah,
now.
Nick Fury came and killed everybody. But yeah, that was the that's how that started. And then and I think somewhere between when I was in Boston, somewhere I think between the second season and third and fourth, I moved out here because we don't know. We never knew if we were getting another season. Our show was so touch and go, and we were always on the cusp of getting canceled. We'd have like a 4-month window where we're like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So in between, I was like, there's only one TV show in Boston, and I'm on it, and we don't know if it's going to be. So I'm going to move to a place where there is television. I'm going to learn how to pitch and do all that stuff. And then I came out here.
Me and Randy just pitched something today.
Did you?
Yep.
We're hella Hollywood, bro.
Yeah,
That's
man.
pretty cool, bro.
Pitching all over the place.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We got all sorts of pots on the fire.
That's cool.
Sticks in the oven.
Sticks in the mud.
Sticks in the mud.
Yeah.
When did I meet you first? That was in the Tomorrow Show.
Yeah, it had to have been the Tomorrow Show.
Yeah.
I wonder. That's the funny thing is, like, I don't know all the stuff that you're talking about today, I don't really know all the details, so it's interesting to hear.
Yeah.
But we've known each other for a little while.
Yeah.
But just from going to the Tomorrow Show.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
But for the listener, the Tomorrow Show is a weekly variety show that Brendon Small, Ron Lynch, and Craig Anton started.
Yeah.
It's been probably 7 or 8 years.
It's been probably about 8 years, because I think I started that right around the time I started. Because I'm in like 8th year of Metalocalypse now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that show's been on that long?
That's
It has, but you know what?
crazy.
We have so much time in between seasons because I put out these records and I do these
Yeah.
tours and all that stuff. And it's just I don't go right back in because I end up. It's got this whole other life outside of just TV, you know. So
That's crazy.
So it's been like it's not like we've been doing like 26 episode seasons. We've been doing like this chunk and that chunk and these little things and a rock opera and all this other stuff.
Yeah. And then I moved to town. I started hanging out at the Tomorrow Show. I think it was like, it literally probably was one of your last Tomorrow shows.
Right.
Where you were just like busy and you're like, all right, I'm not going to come host this show anymore.
I was so busy doing the first few seasons of Metalocalypse that I was like, and then I was there every single weekend for 3 years.
Yeah.
Doing this crazy midnight show where you go up and you fucking hang out and waste people's time. And it was like,
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like literally, it was like the place that I developed. I mean, I moved here. I'd been doing stand-up for like 6 or 7 months, but it was like the thing that made me feel comfortable, like acting and improvising, was this weird show.
Yeah.
But I remember probably my first 2 times at the show, you were still hosting.
Right.
And then after that, that was it. So it's funny. It's like literally like last few times, but you would come back and co-host and stuff, and that's how we met. And then probably the next year or two, or the next year, Craig was involved.
Right.
And then it was just Ron.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of the same experiences, I think. But,
you're probably right.
But I was there when you weren't, and you were there when I wasn't.
Right.
Which is saying the same thing twice.
Yeah, same thing, same exact thing. A really long way to say the same thing 2 times. Yeah.
Yeah, it is poetic. How
It is funny. That show is so crazy because I think it's so much fun when there's a packed house, and it's so much fun when there's even like 8 people.
Oh man!
And then sometimes it's just like hell on earth, and you know
it's a weird place to do because like it was like anytime you want to do stand up, so then I would come and do stand up, and then sometimes it would be great just based on like my confidence in that space.
Sure.
But sometimes it's just like the worst place to do stand up.
Yeah, it's detrimental.
Where it's like, I'd rather be the guy doing weird stuff, ruining someone else's stand-up set.
Right.
Like in 10 minutes, someone's going to come do stand-up, and it's not going to be funny because of something I did that totally made everyone think differently. Where it's like, oh, this isn't a comedy show. This is just where a guy falls off a ladder and lays on the floor for 10 minutes. But I would always like get my friends to do stand-up on it, and then I'd kind of be like, sometimes, sorry. It's more about what's in between the acts.
It is. It kind of is about. It's about how we're wasting your time and making you think something's going to happen, which is a lot of my comedy. In general. Yeah.
How long do you? So you tour with the band?
I'll tour with the band sometimes, you know, and it's really funny. So right now I'm in this place where I'm trying to figure out how to do, because I have like one more chapter of this whole thing that I want to do. I've got the story mapped out and everything, and I'm just going back and forth with Adult Swim trying to figure out the best way to do it. I have a certain time frame that I think works, and they're like, we're kind of running out of money, so what if we did this? And I don't want to push them too much because I just want to make sure that the final piece of the Death Clock puzzle is given it's earned hopefully a good closure, and I just want to make sure I don't cut it too short.
Okay. How many albums do you have altogether with Death Clock?
With Death Clock, I have 4. I have 4 albums. So, and like I said, the last one that I put out is the Doomstar Requiem, which is the one with the 50-piece orchestra, and Jack Black sings on it, and Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse sings on it, and Mark Hamill and Malcolm McDowell sing on it. And,
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I only have some other fun people here and there, but it's a big, huge undertaking that it was super fun. I'm really happy with how the music turned out, and it's not all like the stuff you heard. There's like weird 80s pop, and there's like, you know, kind of like 70s kind of 10cc style ballads and stuff like that, and just like tons. It just pulls from everywhere, because my whole idea with that is that it's just not every song could be a death metal song because your ear would get fatigued, and it would just there'd be no dynamic range. So it's orchestral metal, and then like a show tune, like a Broadway show tune, and then like a ballad, and then so it's just tons of different dynamic range.
I'm going to buy the orchestra album.
It's pretty cool.
On your website.
Yeah. I was looking for it to bring in here because that's the most current one. I just brought this because that was in my car.
Well, I bet is it on Spotify?
It may be. Yeah.
If it is, we'll play the episode out on it.
Yeah, you should.
So how long are the tours that you do for the band?
We've done some. So we toured with some different
bus?
guys. Yeah, we will tour with a bus, and it's really like people say, "Oh, the road is hard." Not when you're selling a lot of records.
Yeah.
You're on a luxury cruise liner with Wi-Fi and cable and all kinds of shit.
Recording studio. I met not to cut, but I met Elliott Smith years ago in Portland because I had some friends who had a record label who put out his records.
Sure.
And then that was like 96-ish. And he's just playing at a bar, and he's a nice enough guy. And then I moved to Austin that year in 97. And I was living in a garage and watching the Oscars on this little TV. And he comes out and I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
That was the first time that I kind of saw like success where it's like, oh, it's that guy that was at a bar. Now he's like at the Oscars playing a song.
That. Yeah.
And then he was playing in Austin at this place, Liberty Lunch, which isn't there anymore. And my friend Christopher was tour managing him, the guy who had the record label. And he's like, oh, do you want to see the bus? And it was like, it blew my mind how nice the bus was. Where it's like, oh, shit, I guess that's the difference between being on Cavity Search Records and being on DreamWorks is like there's a 24-track recording studio in the back of the bus. And the whole place looks like a Four Seasons suite.
Yeah, it can be nice, and but there's too much money spent on that stuff, and it's funny. If it were my own money, now that I'm I'm like, I'm not spending that money. You guys are gonna be like a Labrador in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
And we're gonna drive around.
Well, it's like flying first class. Like you're never gonna buy yourself a first class thing. But if someone's flying you somewhere,
where's my ticket?
I need a first class. Yeah. That's how I travel.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not bad. We toured with Mastodon and this band High on Fire.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those guys.
And we've toured with lots of different guys, Machine Head.
So do you always go out like on a group thing like that?
Well, yeah, usually what they do, it's just advantageous to package. And so you have like probably 3 bands and then the headliner, or in Mastodon's case, we're co-headlining, so we'd switch. Sometimes we'd be the final one, sometimes they'd be the final one. And so you do that. And depending on where you're at and how many records you're selling, that kind of tells you what the... And then, we're good for, a few thousand seats in a place, just this name and Adult Swim and the fact that it's being advertised on TV, that kind of helps out. But yeah, the longest one we did was like a 7-week tour, and that was with Mastodon, which is a long tour for me.
That's pretty long time,
and I'm like a homebody. I don't like being on the road that much. And you get used to it. You really get used to it. Going through like an hour and 20-minute show every single night. It's not like comedy where you're like, I don't know, I hope it works tonight. Let's see what happens.
It always works.
Yeah, it always works.
Yeah.
You know what? Because we have a gigantic movie theater size screen behind us that's completely. There's a click track running to the drummer's headset. So he's being cued in so every downbeat is coinciding with a cut. The whole thing is this big, huge synergy between picture and sound. So we have a whole video that's playing with the band.
Wow.
So it's a really cool, different kind of a thing. Yeah. And so when there's crazy double kicks, that's all being reflected in visually. And there's a story being told, and there's a whole kind of loose story that's happening throughout the whole night. And on our last tour, we had Werner Herzog doing the intro voiceover.
Oh, wow.
Because he's a character on the show, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I know.
Do you like the Flaming Lips at all? Are you into that kind of
cool.
stuff?
Yeah, I had some of their records.
Their live shows are really amazing. Like they have the screen and it's all synced up with everything.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, I think that's fun.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. It makes for such a better show,
Yeah, our show is pretty big and epic.
Are you playing in any shows in town?
We will be.
Okay.
I can't talk about it just yet. I can tell you off. But stay tuned, listeners, because there's a cool Death Clock show coming up soon.
Cool.
But yeah.
Well, I want to get more familiar with it. I don't like. I've been aware of your work for a long, like the home movie stuff and all, but never was I've seen a handful of episodes,
Yeah.
and I'm peripherally familiar with the Death Clock stuff and that show. I just don't really watch too much stuff, but
Yeah, why would you? What do you work in comedy? It's like who wants to sit around watching cartoons all day? Because I don't know. I have friends with funny shows and comedy shows, and I'm like, I work at a chocolate factory. I'm gonna go home and eat chocolate.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's harder to like amuse yourself. Like that's why I started doing deface billboards and stuff for fun. And
I saw that picture. Is that the one you did with the? Did you deface that one? I think I saw a tweet where it was the
Samsung phone.
Yeah, was that what did it say?
Yeah.
It said like your
father passed away last night. Yeah.
I saw that, and I showed it. I showed it to my friend. I fucking laughed so hard. That was hilarious.
Good.
Yeah.
But that's like I started doing that stuff because it was kind of like once you get in the comedy bit, it's like I just want to crack myself up, and there's a whole mischief element too.
Are you
of
doing
like,
that on the thing?
Yeah.
You going up and painting that?
No,
it's a big sticker. Yeah, Randy helped. He was,
but still, okay. So
He's had to climb up there.
You were literally.
I didn't. He did.
You were literally going into facing that stuff.
Yeah.
I was looking. I was like, oh, obviously that's done on the computer.
Oh no! I mean, I designed it on a computer, but then I had it printed out at a sign.
That's
place.
amazing. That takes a lot of balls.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like because it really doesn't. You don't get that kind of rush. Like, not that I'm some kind of adrenaline junkie, but like. Remember when you were a kid? I don't know what kind of kid you were, but like that exhilaration of like
doorbell ditch or whatever.
Yeah, like not
keeping someone's
like,
house.
Yeah,
because
setting a kid on fire. Or yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah. Like because you don't have that threat of like getting in trouble when you're an adult. I mean, it's like if you drink and drive, like there's like heavy stuff, but like that kind of like where you're like, oh boy, I might get caught, and then like you do it, and it's such a like, it's such a it's a feeling that you don't get when you're over the age of like 14.
Yeah,
and so it's really fun, but also it's like you were saying, when you make comedy your business.
Yeah,
it's like it's so hard to. Like you don't really laugh out loud at too many things. Like there's really funny things. Like I was watching a few stand-up specials, just kind of going on Netflix and watching a little bit of like Todd Glass's thing and Bill Burr, because I feel like I don't watch anything. Maybe I should be aware of what's going on.
Sometimes it's inspiring. Yeah.
And there's stuff that's really funny, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's funny. Like you don't crack up like you. So it's.
I watched Colin Quinn's thing.
I just watched that recently.
That was great.
The history
long story
one. Long story short.
Is that what it is? Yeah,
I think that's what's called.
Have you seen that?
I haven't seen
it. It's
on
Netflix right now. It's really. I think it's incredibly well written. I think him acting through his jokes is really impressive.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
It is a whole different. Like it's not really a stand. I mean, it's
a one-man show.
It's a one-man show.
Yeah.
It's a one-man show, but with tons of jokes and tons of funny stuff and a really funny take.
His tweets are great too. I love his. Do you follow him on Twitter?
I do. Yeah, he's always in some kind of
just fucking with people.
Yeah, just mercilessly fucking with people. Yeah.
Well, we probably got enough podcasts. This was like the most This is probably the best podcast we ever did.
Yeah, I think this is
very normal.
Going to be the one that gets nominated for all the awards.
This will get a potty.
Potty.
Yeah.
Potty.
Fucking potty, dude. Fuck you,
is there a track that you want me to play?
Off of the Doomstar Requiem, you can play the Duel. This is a fun thing. Check this out. This is some guitar craziness. By the way, I'll be at I don't know when this is going to come out, but I'm doing a really cool show with Steve Agee at the Baked Potato, which is going to be really cool musicians, and Mark Maron and Dana Gould and Emo Phillips are going to be there.
Oh, cool.
And it's going to be April 15th at the Baked Potato, which is a jazz club, and it's just a really cool vibe. You guys should come and do it if we keep doing it. It'd be really cool.
Baked Potato, is that here in town?
Yeah, it's on Cahuenga. It's in Studio City, and it's not too far away at all. But I'm doing
we can
a show.
Get this out by
I think we're going to try to play this live, so wish us luck. Check this out.
Yeah, I'll all right, thanks for good to all right.
Yeah.
Let's
not make it weird.
I mean, once we stop recording, we'll probably continue to talk, so we can say our goodbyes then.
Yeah.
But this is the end of the podcast.
Yeah, guys, we're going to play a song. You can listen to that, but then
this is off the Doomstar Requiem. This is a song called The Duel.
I'm going to play the whole thing, and if we get in trouble for it, I'll call you.
Send them to me. I own the masters.
All right, cool.
All right.